Today, we're going to be talking about how to get to the heart of connections with your prospects and your residents using video marketing. Now, if the thought of getting on camera just makes you break out into a sweat, I don't want to lose you. You are not alone. In fact, I want to let you in on a little secret. Getting on camera used to be really hard for me. Today, I have a lot of friends that'll say, "Oh, you seem like a natural. You seem so confident." And guys, that could not be further from the truth. I used to record videos, watch them, cringe listening to my own voice, critique every little thing that I did, scrap the entire video, and then not end up posting it. Now, I'm not saying that I have overcome all of my challenges when it comes to video marketing, but I'm certainly a lot more comfortable in front of the camera now. And today I want to spill the secrets on what helped me to get there. Now, over the next few months, I'm going to be really digging into all the different ways that you can use video marketing. There's so many avenues now, but this will be our foundational. And we're going to use this training as kind of our jumping off point. It's our baby steps. So the platform that I'm going to be talking about specifically today is Instagram Stories. And I'll tell you why in just a minute. But we're going to cover the foundationals of how to feel good getting on camera and how to connect with our audience. Now, I chose to start with Instagram Stories because, first of all, they're 15 seconds long. So you might be like, "Oh my gosh, I don't know what to say." I'm going to help you with that, but 15 seconds goes by so fast. The second reason I like Instagram Stories is they go away after 24 hours. Now, you have the option to save them as a highlight, but you certainly don't have to. So there's something about knowing like, okay, it's going to be up and then it'll be gone. There's less of a commitment there. So again, baby steps, just getting comfortable showing up on camera. Now, the reason that video marketing is so powerful and the reason platforms like TikTok and Instagram and even Facebook have really heavily gone and are, like TikTok solely video is because it's the way that people can connect. When you think about it, living in the world that we live today, we are, many of us, extremely isolated at this point, but we feel connected and we might even feel like we really know somebody because we've seen them on video. So where a photo, I don't know if this has ever happened to you, back in the day when Instagram used to only be photos, I maybe followed a blogger that I would see all these pictures and I kind of had an idea of what I thought they were like. But once I saw them get on video, their personality might be 100% different than what I thought it was by just looking at pictures. So what's nice about video is that people get to know the nuances of a team and of your personality, and it shortcuts that connection time. So when a prospect walks in, if they've been following you or after they visited, they follow you, they can quickly get to know what your community is all about by virtue of you, your team showing up on video. And, one of the things that I want to emphasize when it comes to marketing is, we put a lot of emphasis on our logos, our brand colors, and those are extremely important for brand recognition. But at the end of the day, as human beings, we just connect with other human beings. There's not a logo that I feel like this super tight bond with, right? Even companies that I love, I might recognize the logo and I might look at what is, what they're offering based on brand recognition. But it is how they're bringing that to life through people that I either see myself in or that I aspire to be like or that entertain. We've talked about those different things, right? To entertain, to inspire, or to educate. Video helps you do that. So why I bring that up is because it's worth your time getting comfortable, especially because that's the direction the world is going in. You can reach a bigger audience, you can engage your prospects, and you can form really strong resident connections when they connect with you and your team. So Instagram has made it so easy. In fact, now they have filters, so you can pick a filter that, I recommend maybe a filter that isn't so over the top, but that can be consistent. They have one that's called Subtle that's really nice. Or you can find one that matches like the coloring that you're gonna wanna go for, whether it's a warm tone or a cool tone, or no filter at all. You can use the app, the piggyback app called Threads that I've shared before, so you can caption your videos. Some accounts have music to kind of pump up what a story feels like, and they have engagement tools like polls and stickers, so it's not a one-sided conversation. My point being is Instagram is making it easy for the everyday individual to almost be an editor, a videographer, so to speak, which is really cool. So we want to jump on these platforms and get to know how to use these tools again to connect, to get to the heart of those connections with our prospects and our residents. So again, the principle, the foundation is that we connect with people, and that's what we have to start with. So a couple of my tips is, when I used to get on, I was very much coming from the mindset of a speaker. I did a lot of training and educating on stages. And so I would, be on a stage, and I'd be walking around and moving, and I would be talking to an audience of people. Well, when you're talking on camera when you're connecting with your audience, you really want to, first of all, make sure that your tone is warm, it's inviting, that people, again, can resonate. That was something that was really hard for my personality because I like to be professional when it comes to work, but there's this whole other side of me. And so I struggled, like, do I come across as super professional, or do I let a little bit of my goofiness shine? Is that unprofessional? And I just want to start by saying, that the tone is really important. And I heard a tip at one of the conferences I attended for social media that said, if you struggle with that, have a picture handy of somebody that you love, that communicating easily, like it comes easy to communicate with them. So for me, my sister and I, if I'm talking to my sister, we're going to be like talking like we're best friends, because we are, right? There's no pretenses. I'm not trying to be like crazy over the top professional. If I mess up in like a sentence, I'm like, not like, oh my God, Marcy, like, let me rephrase that and start all over. No, but there's a warmth that comes when I'm talking to my sister because I love her. We have a great relationship, and she's, my little sister. So that tip really helped. I would post a little picture of my sister, and I would pretend that I was talking to her. I was encouraging her. I was telling her about my day, and it helped my tone come across a lot more authentic, how I wanted it to resonate with the people I was talking to that I couldn't see face to face. So that tip really helped me, especially like when doing a tutorial or anything like that. Now with Instagram stories, you might not hold up a picture of, your best friend or your sister, but you might look at it just, a time that made you feel really comfortable, so that you get in the mindset of talking to the camera like you're talking to a friend. That's my tip number one. That's going to also help you a lot when you're doing virtual tours. Again, it doesn't feel cold. You have a tone that's a little less guarded. It's a little more approachable. So even if you're not holding up a picture, or you're not doing this video on your computer, but on your phone, look at a picture that reminds you of someone that you have that connection with, and it'll resonate because those feelings will come through. Okay, get physically comfortable. That's something else that I think is really, really hugely important. Not being vain, but most of us have certain things that we do to feel our best. And especially because we're representing our community, look how you feel your best, whether that's making sure that your hair looks nice, or you have a little bit of makeup on, or whatever that is. Do what makes you physically comfortable, and then sit or stand in a spot that allows you to fully express yourself. I'm going to show you guys later, when I do a full-on tutorial of the phone, how you can use the hands-free mode, because I talk with my hands. So if I'm holding the phone and I'm holding it like this, and I'm worried about pressing the button and making it within 15 seconds, something gets lost there. So if I use the hands-free mode, which allows you to not have to hold the button, I can use my hands to express myself, which is super, super important for me, because using gestures is just a part of my personality. I speak as much with my hands as I do with my mouth. So that's a little trick that'll help you, but make sure that you're physically comfortable. Again, your look. And sometimes if you're going to shoot a video, make sure that, what part of your body do you want to show? Like, is it a full body shot? Are you doing something like this? Get your angles to where you feel your best, that you're looking your best, because then when you look back at your video, you can feel confident about what you're putting out. I will say the best tip, people talk about filters, and filters can be great, but to me, the best filter is natural light. And I'm going to show you guys just how important natural light is. Hopefully this doesn't mess up too much. This is right now, my little stand is setting up in front of a window. Let me show you what happens when the light is behind me. See how dark I am? And all of a sudden, there's a lot of shadows and things like that. But watch what happens as I move the camera to where there's just natural light. it's very forgiving. And when you're almost 40, that's also great too. So stand in front of natural light. It's going to be your best filter. I guarantee it. And you're going to feel the most confident. You're going to feel that light in front of you, and you're going to let that light then within shine through. Okay, the other thing is, don't worry about being perfect. You know, when I was saying earlier that I would record and I would, delete, it's hard for people to connect with somebody perfect because honestly, none of us have ever met somebody that is perfect. So if you see somebody that is really like that ideal measure, it's hard to relate to them. You might look at that and think like, man, that's awesome. But if it's too far within reach, you'll never be able to get there. So let yourself shine through and don't worry about being perfect, and let your personality shine through. We talked about that earlier, how people connect with people. Yes, you're going to be talking about your community, but whatever makes you you, whatever your friends love about you, let that shine through a little bit too. And I'm going to say that, I guess as kind of like a little reminder is, don't worry about what your colleagues are going to think, or like your family. Let's say your family follows your community's Instagram and they might tease you, oh, look at you getting up on camera. Don't worry about that. You're not there for them. They're not your target audience. You're connecting with your prospects and your residents. So let any of those insecurities go out the window. And the other thing about personality is, don't try to put on somebody else's personality. I've said that in the past, even as a speaker. There was speakers that were so funny, and it was like when you attended their sessions, it was like a comedy hour and you laughed the whole time. I like to be silly, but that being like a comedian is definitely not how somebody would describe me, right? So my style was a little bit different. It was very action oriented, fast moving. I loved music. I loved fun, but in a different way. When I stopped trying to adopt the personalities of other people, it was easier for me just to relax into who I was. And that's the same thing on camera when doing your Instagram stories. If you are a silly individual, that's okay to bring that out. If you're doing a tour or you're showing something and you're dancing your way through, maybe you're a great salsa dancer, incorporate that. I follow this one community, and one of the leasing agents, he's an awesome dancer, and in every video he's dancing because that's him. It just comes naturally, and you connect with him because you can see that it's authentic. But if he was forcing it would be really weird and it wouldn't feel authentic, and people could see that. So I just want to say, own what you are. If you are super professional and this is just how you talk, I follow this news anchor on Instagram, and she's the most professional, precise, eloquent speaker I've ever heard, but it's her. You can just tell from the way she carries herself to the way she speaks. That resonates. But if, another blogger would see her and be like, I have to be like her, but they were more of a disheveled kind of go with the flow person, it would feel inauthentic. So what I'm saying is, bring you, all of you, to the table, and obviously keep it professional in the sense that, yes, we are representing a brand. So our community, we don't own it. So we still have to bring about the culture that community stands for. Show the behind the scenes of what running a community is like. People love that. I want you to think about Instagram stories as kind of like these quick snippets where people get to come into our world. So showing what it takes when you're planning an event, or even showing little pieces of video of your maintenance when they're prepping a make ready, or when you guys are having a team meeting, or when you're cleaning up the property in the morning or walking a tour route. Those are the kind of things that people want to see. And again, not too long. Those 15-second clips, there's a reason people's attention spans are short. So you don't want to have at the top of your Instagram stories 500 of those little tiny white dots, meaning there's one story after another. You want to keep them brief, 2 to 3 of those 15-second snippets. People want to watch and kind of get the sense of it quickly. The other thing is, if you're comfortable, you can also show things outside of the 9 to 5. And again, that would depend on your company policy. But let's say that you take turns and you do, videos where you're at home with your kiddos and it's what you're doing on the weekend. And you could post something like, I come and I work so hard at our community and I give it my all for these little guys. If you're comfortable. Again, that's something that is always this fine line of how much personal do you mix in. Mine's obviously a little bit different because, Sprout is my company, but for you, you're representing a community. So you have to kind of balance that. find out what your company policy is. But if they give you a green light to share some stuff, I mean, it could be, doesn't even have to be your kids. It could be a hobby that you have on the weekend. It could be a couple of little things like, oh, hey guys, like going for a hike, just wanted to say hi. So there was something else that I was going to share. Oh, something else that can be super helpful. I don't know if you're like me. I'm not always in the mood for video. Like there's times where I feel super social and I want to get on and I want to talk. There's times where I just don't. And it might be the weather. It might just be the day I'm having, or my to-do list is crazy long. I like to take advantage of the times that I am in that great, like kind of spunky mood and shoot a lot of different videos. So it's okay to batch video content of your community or of yourself when you're feeling good, and then save it, and you can then share it on stories throughout the month, you know, as long as it's evergreen content. Like for example, a tour of your clubhouse, that's going to always be pretty much the same unless you do a huge remodel. But it doesn't matter if I shot it 2 weeks ago and I'm sharing it today. You don't have to say, oh, I shot this 2 weeks ago. No, you just record it when you're in the mood and batch up some content. In addition to that, I would like to say that if you share something on stories, you can also save those videos, you can archive them and then reshare them again. So remember, not very many people are seeing all of your content just because of how the algorithm works. So it's okay to create content and then reshare it, especially if it's things that new prospects would need to know or residents maybe didn't see. So make your content last and make that video content. It's not easy to do it. So when you do it, utilize it, share it often. Now, if it is a video that answers like a frequently asked question, or maybe it's events and you want to show, you know, you want to have it there a lot longer, save it to your highlight reel, so that the highlight reel is almost like when you go to a website and you have that top navigation. So you could have a frequently asked questions, you could have an events, you could have a floor plans one. And every time you shoot that video, there's a little button, and I'll show you guys here in just a minute, where you can save to highlights. And when you do that, then it makes it available. So like for me, if I go to a new Instagram profile and I like the account, I want to binge. And so binging to me is I go and look through their profile and see what else they have. And then I go and I look at their highlights. So let's say it's a blogger and she's sharing recipes. Well, she can't show all of her recipes at once in Instagram stories every single day, but she can save them to her highlight reel, and then I can look at it as a new follower and feel like I know her within minutes. So think about those as almost like your Netflix, where you binge. It's like next, next, next. The more they kind of get into your world as a prospect, they see what your community and your personality is all about, and it makes them really decide, is this a good fit for me? So those are a few tips. Connect with the individual. Really put on the mindset of talking to someone that you love, that you know, that you feel very comfortable with. Don't try to be perfect. Don't try to be somebody else. Get really comfortable both physically and mentally. And just remember, it's a muscle, right? So the more that we get on video, the more confident we get. And we see that it's like when we start seeing the success come from it, it's so good that we want to do it again and again. So in the next little section, I want to show you guys how to actually do this. So kind of like a behind the scenes, if you're maybe newer to doing Instagram stories, I want to show you how you can do that. And then I also want to show you how you can save that to a highlight reel so that people can watch it again and again. So make it your goal. Let's make it a goal this month to show up on Instagram stories throughout the week, and to remember that we're connecting our audience with the personality or the heart of our community, which is us and our team members. And not everybody in your community may feel comfortable showing up on video, but if a few of you do, you're guaranteed a few more personalities are going to find more connection points with your prospects and your residents. And that is really powerful. So when we talk to teams and they say, what makes your community unique? It's you. And the more that you let you shine through, again, the stronger, the deeper those connections will be. And this year is all about getting deep connections in a world that sometimes feels a bit isolated and a bit divided. So there you go. I can't wait to share with you more on this subject. You know, stay tuned, because we're going to really dig into just getting comfortable and making video a part of our marketing funnel and our marketing strategy. Until next time.